Welcome back to the Rock of Truth podcast presented by Danco Transmission. For all your automobile needs and auto care, whatever it is, go to Danco Transmission out in Fairfield. It's an awesome place. Danco Joe will take care of you. Tell him Soppy sent you. Fellas, it is awesome to be back with you after a great week last week. I know we're going to dive into some basketball. We have a fun little segment today as well. How's your guys' week been?
Good,
Great,
dude.
great, Joe.
It's been real good. It's flown by. You guys got any exciting plans this weekend? Anything you're looking forward to?
I get to watch my parents' dog.
There you go, Joe.
Big CHCA open house this weekend that I will be in attendance at to hopefully find the next future Eagles. So anyone listening, you got a 8th grader, potentially looking to be a champion, come over to the Nest. Got a big open house this weekend. Now, that's my big plans. Also, we got a game on Saturday, the Lady Eagles against Summit, 2:30 in the Nest. I mean, also Bearcat fans, you want to come out, support, wear purple, support the Lady Eagles. I know Statty's going to be in attendance.
Yep.
So that will be exciting too. Plus the Bengals game. I know we're going to talk a little bit about that later, but that's kind of my big plans for the weekend. The Eagles and the Bengals.
I got something for you fellas. I'm going down to Tampa this weekend, and for Gasparilla Fest. And for those of you who don't know what Gasparilla Fest is, it's this huge festival that they hold every year. I've never been, but I heard it's electric, and it's like a pirate. Like people fly in all across like the country to dress up as a pirate. There's like a parade. They have like a pirate ship that goes through the bay. There's a boat parade. It's supposed to be this like huge deal. So I got my pirate outfit. Like I'm ready to go.
Dude, what color are you going like full? Are you just rocking a hat, or you got full suit?
I'm kind of like half-assing it. I bought like this.
All right.
I typed in like pirate shirt on Amazon, and there's this kind of like wavy long sleeve shirt, and it's like you tie it up here. I got a bandana.
That's good. That's all you need.
Yeah, I might rock like some Birkenstocks. I feel like that. Do pirates? Do they wear shoes? I don't know much about pirates.
They're boot guys.
Boot guys. Maybe I'll find some boots.
Bootleggers.
That's what I got going. So looking forward to that. But looking forward to hearing about Joe Met, your experience today. You were at the University of Cincinnati Bearcat men's basketball practice today. Sounded like you had a great time. We're kind of excited to hear about your experience and what your takeaway was from being at practice today.
I'll say this to start. I know for the people listening, I think, I've tweeted a few things here and there, nothing bad, but more so just trying to. I think it's hard when you're a fan, like to really get a good read on your head basketball coach. I think, to be honest with you, college basketball coaching is one of the hardest things, in my opinion, between NIL and recruiting and just the day-to-day. I mean, you're involved with every aspect of practice as a head coach in college basketball. And when you're just watching games and you just don't know what kind of talent you have on the team, I think it's really hard to, I think, figure out ultimately like what you've got. Is this the guy? Is this not the guy? Because I think it takes time to build a culture. After being at practice today, like he is our guy. Like I'm 100% all in. Like he was flying around. He was getting after it. I mean, he was coaching up his boys in every way. So I think 100% we have our guy. I don't know how many people are going to listen to me or care what I have to say, but being at practice today, being a coach myself, I found a greater appreciation for him today. So that's first and foremost the biggest thing I got out of today's practice was kind of having that refreshing feeling walking out, going like, we've got our guy, if that makes sense.
And I'll let you keep going, but I do want to point that last year when I was coaching, we would go get like meals or whatever, and they would have it in the like basketball arena. So I would see the practices every once in a while, and I would like step out and watch 10, 15 minutes of it. And I was texting like everybody in the Bearcat group chats that I'm in, like, dude, this guy Wes Miller is legit. Like, this guy's gonna turn the program around. That was before year one, before his start last year. I was like, I mean, he runs a tight ship, and it's like high energy, and it's super cool to watch. So I saw that a couple of times firsthand, which was really cool. But I'll let you keep going on the what else you saw.
Well, I remember we had that conversation last year, and I remember you were talking, and Ty Spawn was talking, and Statty, you said some stuff about like, hey, they get after it during practice, right? Like they get after it during practice, and I am, in my opinion, I'm like, I was the first one to say, it doesn't shock me that they get after it during practice, but I told you guys like they're not going to be very good, right? And it's not has anything to do with him. It's more so like, to be honest, it's just the kind of talent they had at the time. This year they've brought in some different guys. I think they're much improved from last season. I think they're going to be much improved next year. And we talked about last week, like Jerome Tang took over Kansas State with 2 scholarship players, and he flipped the entire thing in one off season. Like just because Big 12 name, it's not like Kansas State is some powerhouse basketball program. Like he flipped the thing around because there's a lot of good basketball players that are in the portal. You can find some different guys. You can build a roster. Now, he's done a terrific job. No one's guaranteeing that Wes is going to do that. But I do think they're going to have a much easier time recruiting in the transfer portal this year. And they're going to be able to find and assess guys in a lot easier way, right? Like, I think a lot of the time in the last few years in the portal, especially when you're recruiting in the AAC, you're playing a guessing game. Like, I think they've guessed on a lot of these transfers. I don't think they guessed on Landers Nolly because they've seen him twice in conference play. But a lot of these other guys, they're guessing on in some way, some facet. So for me, like I'm really excited for the future. After watching today, it was just a breath of fresh air for me walking away knowing, all right, we got a guy who like he's passionate. Like this is his life. This is what he does. And he really cares about winning and building this thing. I mean, that's what I saw today in the gym. Attention to detail too. As a basketball coach, Statty, you've played. Like the coaches who are the best have attention to detail to a point where it pisses every player they've ever coached off, right? Like you get pissed off at your coach to a point because they continually go after the same little details over and over and over and over. And the great coaches have great attention to detail, right? So he had great attention to detail today. Like until they got things right, he would not move on from a drill. I mean, they were in one drill. He made certain players close out defensively and sit in a stance defensively the exact way he wanted it to be done. And until they did it, they were not going to move on to the next drill, which to me was like, that told me everything I need to know about the guy. Like he's not taking any shortcuts. Like he's going to do everything the right way and try and build this thing the way he sees fit to build like a great culture and a great program to what we once were as a basketball program here, which I was like, man, this is awesome.
That was powerful right there, dude. That was sweet. How much did going to today's practice affect your practice this evening? Or how do you think it's going to change you as a coach moving forward?
Dude, we had our best practice of the year tonight. I'm not kidding. Like we had our best practice of the year tonight. And I'm not like joking around. Like now there was a lot, I'm not a big cusser. I don't cuss very often. I think when you're coaching, boys and girls, it's different, right? We've talked about this. You have to deal with things differently. It has nothing to do with toughness. It has nothing to do with anything like that. It's just, it's different. Right. And especially where I'm at right now, we have a lot of girls who like, this is their second sport. It's not their first sport. So it's a little bit different from a standpoint of like, these girls are also, this is their second sport. They're also playing for fun, right? Like if I tick them off too much, they'll quit on you, like you have like, and same thing goes with guys in high school basketball too, because you might have a bunch of guys that are really good at football or baseball and that's their second sport in basketball. So you have to be careful. Like you still want them to have a fun, awesome experience, right? Because they're not on scholarship, right? They're not on scholarship. It's much different on the college level. And you could tell like the way they practiced today and the way Wes was getting after it and getting on his guys. It was a completely different level than I could ever go to, right? But today we had our best practice. I think I was more like, I'm talking attention to detail, like, right? It was because I think sometimes, like, for me, I know how important it is because it was that way for me in high school. But watching like a legitimate college basketball coach at the D1 level be so detail oriented made me realize like, oh, I'm not being a jerk. I'm actually doing this because I want these girls to get better and I want them to do this, this, and this. And also our girls accepted the challenge today. They were locked in. So I had talked to them before practice, like where I was at today, like what kind of stuff went on. I was telling them like, I yell at you guys all the time for not, I get on you guys all the time for not communicating, not talking on the defensive end, right? Not telling each other where to go and where to be. And I mean, the amount of times today Wes was on his guys for not communicating was awesome. I mean, because it reminded me like how important communication is, even at the D1 level, right? And like obviously, it's much different than the level we're at, but at the same time, like being detail oriented and being having the attention to those details, like communicating and talking and being in the right spots and sitting in a stance and all that kind of stuff. I think I was probably more tuned in today. So I thought it was very beneficial for me. We used one of the drills actually today in practice, like the closeout drill they were doing. We used that exact drill, second drill of the day today, which was like, in my opinion, that kind of set the tone for how we played defense for the entirety of practice.
Gotta love the closeout drill. One of the worst. Hate it, but you love it.
That's awesome.
You got to do it, right?
It's a must-have.
Who do the Bearcats got next? Is it they play somebody on Saturday? I feel like I was just looking at it.
Houston.
They play Houston Saturday.
The number 3 team in the nation.
I feel like we just play Houston.
We're at their place.
Yeah, I mean it's a huge game. I mean, you could feel the energy.
We need this.
You could feel the energy in the gym today.
It's a must-have.
Yeah, you could feel that, in my opinion.
I mean, what are we saying?
They just played January 8th and lost 72-59 at home.
Game of fight.
We're gonna have to score more than that. No, but what's the record, Joe?
I think what are we, Aaron? We got 14 wins. What are we?
14-7.
6 losses, 7 losses.
7.
It's one of those games that's like, you don't want to talk about moral victory. Yeah, go ahead, Aaron.
14-7.
14.
ESPN gives us a 3.2% chance to win, according to their FPI. Houston's got 96.8%.
As far as turning,
what's the record, Aaron?
There's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Hello, Chad Brendel.
I love that. That's one of those games that, I mean, obviously they're not expected to win, and hopefully they can come in and pull the upset off. But like, you hate to talk about like moral victories, but if they can play them close, come in with that energy that they had at practice today, and give Houston everything they can handle, that could be big. I feel like just for kind of because you're getting into February is kind of the nitty-gritty of the season, right? Like that's kind of what separates people. That's what gives you a chance of having a shot at the tournament, or at least giving yourself a shot to play in the conference championship to get to the tournament. So it's a big game on Saturday.
Joe, based on today's practice, who do you think has a big game Saturday?
Dude, what was really awesome? I'm gonna be honest with you. When they started practice today, one of our athletic directors brought some of his kids to practice today. There was like 2 or 3 of them in there. And first guy over to say hi to all of them was David DeJulius. Like, dude comes right over. He like daps up every kid. He daps up all of us, like the older guys. He's like thanking us for coming to practice. Like, hope you guys enjoy practice, fellas. Like, we'll talk after. And then the next guy that comes over, and these were the only 2 players that did this, but Landers Nolly was the next guy over. So when you've got, in my opinion, and obviously I put Victor in the best players list on our team, but like for me, when you talk about the two best players taking their time out to come over and like introduce themselves to the kids, like they didn't have to do that. Like no coaches made any of them do that. Like that, in my opinion, that would said a lot about those two and what kind of people they are. Like you can just tell Dave's like a really good guy. Like he's just easy to root for. Like there's nothing about him you can dislike, and he works his butt off. Like he doesn't make mistakes in practice. He's continually talking, leading. So that's a guy I want to see do well. I'm sure they're going to have extra emphasis on the defensive end to take him away and try and take Landers away and things of that nature. But I also think Vic could have a big game. Wes had a lot of emphasis today on making sure we get him more touches inside. So those three are three guys, obviously our three best players. You want them to have a big game. I mean, those would be my three picks. But you know who I just am so impressed with? I've been to 2 practices. I am really impressed with Micah. I mean, that's the last thing I'll kind of say. But Micah he doesn't make mistakes in practice. He always does the right thing. You never hear the coaches getting on him for doing something wrong. He executes what they want him to execute. So I find a lot of value in that as a coach. I think sometimes I've been tough on him as a fan over the years, and being able to be in practices and kind of see what he brings to the table and what he does on a day-to-day basis, you really learn like, okay, this is what the coach is seeing, and there's an obvious reason this kid never comes off the floor, right? And obviously he's been really good this year too. So it's shown in his improvement from last year to this year.
I love that. You got anything else, Daddy? Any closing thoughts on the practice?
No, I wasn't in attendance, unfortunately. I love what Joe had to say.
Dave will probably get mad at me for this, but I think people should know. Last week, out of nowhere, like, you know, Dave and I have known Dave for a long time now because he's been on campus, you know, since 2020. Out of nowhere, he sent me a text late last week, wishing Kelly well, wishing the family well, telling me that, you know, the team missed having my energy around practice and around the program, missed seeing me at games, like just reached out like unprovoked. You know, that he clearly ran it by Wes. It was something he wanted to do, something that, you know, had been hanging on his heart, that he wanted to reach out and make sure that we knew that he supported us and Kelly and whatever. So that goes to what you're saying, Joe. Like that's just who Dave is. Like he's a thoughtful dude. He's got his emotions in check. He's mature. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's hard to put into words, but like that meant a lot to us that, like, you know, that guy, it's one thing, like, you know, Wes and I have a connection. We're around, I'm with him in press conferences. I, you know, see him on the road at AAU. I'm around all the time. Like, it's one thing for Wes, which he has. It's one thing for Wes to reach out. It's another for a guy on the team that, you know, he didn't expect that anybody would ever, you know or hear of this, but I think it's important that people know that's the type of guys that are in the program. That, like, you know,
cool.
Yeah.
He is an adult. He's a man.
Right.
Like everything about him was impressive, and the way he carries himself, even as a basketball player, you can tell who the adults in the room are just by watching them, the way they interact with their coaches and their teammates and things like that. So and also, just so you know, Chad, like Chris LaPlore, when LaPlore learned that I was on the Rock of Truth today, because I, you know, introduced myself and stuff like that, the first thing he asked was like, how's Chad's wife doing? Like, how's Kelly doing? So you are missed more than you probably could ever even know. He was asking about was how's Chad, how's Kelly? We missed Chad at practice. So hope you know that too.
I do. They a lot of those guys reach out regularly, and it just shows the type of people that are around the program, and what they're about, like what their true colors are, for sure. So I just wanted to put that out there, that what you saw from Dave is just, that's Dave. Like that's absolutely who Dave is, and that's what Dave's about. And it's, as a Bearcat fan, you should be nothing but proud of the way that these guys carry themselves, because it's first class.
Yeah.
Have a good show, boys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, that's pretty cool. I don't know the guy personally, but everything I heard about is like, his leadership and how great it is and how much of effect it has on the team. And then to hear about how like good of a guy he is, like those things go hand in hand. And that's kind of the guy you want leading your program, right? So, hopefully he'll leave his mark and kind of be a role model in a way for the other dudes that are there. That's really cool to hear. Kind of changing gears too. So that's kind of a little bit of our basketball talk. Don't have a whole lot of football talk today about Bearcat football. They're grinding, they're in the off season, lifting, putting out some cool videos of them getting after it, which we love to see. That was always my favorite time. I don't know about you, Statty, but that coming back from school, you're just straight like lifting, getting after it, kind of hang out. I always love that. But
lift, go home, play the game.
Exactly. But speaking of that, there's also what's up?
I was saying there was one big headline though this week.
There was one big headline. That's what we're talking about. Is Cam Jones, aka Big Rig, announced that he is part of the WWE's NIL program. So for those of you who don't know, the WWE set up an NIL program like a year and a half ago, and this is like their third class. Basically, they take like 15 kids that are, either in college or just graduated. That kind of, athletes have a big personality or something. So this is the third tier that they've done that. And Cam Jones, UC's own, has announced that he's going to be in the WWE NIL program, which is pretty cool. The training facility is actually right down the street from me in Orlando, which is cool. And I don't know how many people know this, but the first like set of it, when they were putting it together, they actually reached out to me and Bruno, sent me a DM asking if I would be interested in trying out for the WWE NIL program.
So what all entails being part of it?
Dude, I have no idea. I think he just like.
What do you mean they have a training facility?
Well, because like the WWE has a training facility.
Okay, you were just saying in general it's a WWE facility down there.
Yeah, it's like but that's where they send these kids. It's like they all move to Orlando or like come spend weeks like training in Orlando.
Isn't that where they actually did the wrestling during the pandemic as well? Was at that facility in Orlando?
Probably. I would assume so.
I believe that was actually where they did all of the wrestling and all of that during the pandemic when nobody could go anywhere and all of that. But
it's like right down the road from here. But they reached out to me and Bruno for the first thing, and I was like, "Oh, this is a joke," like whatever. And then you click on it, it was like legit WWE's like had
Bruno LaBelle.
Yeah, Bruno LaBelle. They reached out to us. We thought that was a joke, but it was like from the legit account and it had like, however many followers was verified and all that. And we were just like, obviously didn't hop on it, but Cam is, and he's a way better fit than either of us would have been. And, that's super cool to see. He's awesome. Big country motherfucker, dude. Like he's a trip. And he'll be perfect.
What would be your wrestling name? What would be your stage name? Would Ed Soppy Boy? Is that what?
I think when I had my mic'd up, for when I was playing, I don't know if I brought it up or somebody brought it up, and I said it would be I just pulled it out of my ass, but I said Sopnado.
All right.
Just tornado of pain coming at you, Joe Met. I don't know if you can handle that.
And that was when they pulled the offer, right?
Yep, that's when they told me. That's when they said, "We've had enough of this guy." That was that might have been my last year playing, my redshirt junior year, or maybe it was my redshirt. I think it was my redshirt sophomore year.
I think you got one as our third year.
Because the whole thing was like, who's going to be starting quarterback?
Yeah,
or Dez. So maybe it was redshirt, whatever. Yeah, redshirt sophomore,
third year.
And they like thought they were going to have whoever was mic'd up, and then it was me, which was fun. I was all about kind of like a shot at me, but it was fun. I was all about mic'd up. I loved every second of it.
Mic'd up is so sick.
But not to make it. I mean, like Cam's going to be awesome. That's super cool. Hopefully it all works out, and one day we're watching him just kicking ass in the WWE. That would be really cool.
So Chad and I talked about this on the nightcap. How do you picture him walking down to the ring? Like in what type of an outfit? What kind of music? How are you picturing this?
Dude, he fits the Undertaker.
That's what I was gonna say. Like I'm getting Undertaker vibes from him, but I think it'd be like a country twist. Like he would have like, I think he would go like full like lumberjack. I think is what he would do. He would have like a cut off like red flannel, maybe like a axe or something.
Definitely an axe.
It's like you've already watched the Nightcap.
Maybe I did. Actually, I didn't. I'm sorry. I'm stealing your ideas. But like maybe he comes out with like a Kid Rock like cowboy.
Ooh,
Like walkout song, dude. That would be hard.
that'd be tough.
Cow.
All right.
Cow. Yeah, that'd be tough.
If he hasn't thought about that, I might text him.
Maybe like an AR on his back, like his AR. Yeah.
That would also be like an almost a hat tip to the Undertaker, who came out to American Badass by Kid Rock.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I think it's the same album, maybe.
there we go.
That would
Maybe.
be awesome.
I don't know.
That's a hilarious image.
I love Kid Rock. Big Kid Rock guy over here. But kind of with that thought in mind, we wanted to get back to doing a fun segment. We did like the Mount Rushmores or top 3 or whatever we were calling it. And are we doing top 3? We're gonna do top 3 Bearcats who you'd want to see in the WWE. We're gonna do that tonight. So Chad and Aaron, if you want to join in, feel free. But we're gonna do top 3 Bearcats that you'd want to see in the WWE.
I think you're back to the first pick there, Soppy.
You want to do me?
I think the rotation came back. I think we all got first pick.
Joe, you good?
Joe, Matt, you getting yelled at?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Do you want me to start out? We'll snake draft it.
Then who? Oh, Joe.
Yeah. All right, I'll go first.
First,
a lot of good options, dude. Now that I've been
Study.
thinking about it, but I think my number one.
I think number one's obvious.
I don't know, dude. There's a couple different ones, but this is what I'm gonna go with. My number one. He's a hot name right now. He kills it on social media. There's a couple people who this bill fits. But I think to be in the WWE, you have to have the gift of gab, right? That's like what makes, the greats great. And I think Sauce would be an incredible WWE wrestler. I know he doesn't necessarily have the build, but like the way he talks, the way he carries himself, he's got the persona almost of like a WWE athlete. So I'm going with my first pick. I'm going with Sauce.
All right.
Wow. That's awesome. Is it me?
It's you.
Oh, shoot. I mean, he kind of just killed an animal with his bare hands. I'm going to go Derek Wolf.
I had him written down.
I think I don't think I have to explain that one too much.
He's crazy,
tag team
so it would fit.
team. Not at Derek Wolf.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Derek Wolf's probably. Oh man. I'm gonna take Luke Fickle and Brady Collins as a tag team duo.
Wow.
Fick's got the wrestling background.
Thick. All right.
I imagine Brady
Brady's
Collins
got the personality.
He's got like the Rey Mysterio, smaller guy, just coming around 619 people.
I picture him like X-Pac.
Yeah. I like that.
Brady's the guy that his move is like shaking the top rope, right?
Yeah.
That's absolutely his move.
100%. And then does like a backflip off of it.
Yeah.
I'm going old school. Is it me or is it Joe? I'm fine either way.
Chad. Chad, you take your pick.
I'm going old school. You guys might not know who this is, but this is a throwback. I'm going Brian Kelly as Bobby the Brain Heenan. You guys have no clue who Bobby the Brain Heenan is, do you?
No.
You have to pull it back up again.
Okay, I'm gonna pull up a picture here real quick.
Oh my God.
And this is gonna be what sets you guys off to realize that I'm right.
Brian Kelly has.
There he is. That's Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Oh, jeez.
Tell me that's not Brian Kelly with his hair grown out.
It actually does look exactly like Brian Kelly. That's a haircut right there.
He was a manager for like the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, like Bobby the Brain, and he did commentary for a long time. Like through the 80s and early 90s, Bobby the Brain Heenan was like one of the biggest names in wrestling.
He's giving me like Vince McMahon vibes.
Wow.
Yeah, that's mine. Brian Kelly as the ringside manager, Bobby the Brain Heenan. He was always the guy that would like, he would like trip the wrestler, and then the referee would come over and like argue with him while the wrestler was doing something illegal in the ring. Like he was always the distraction, always like, he totally would have been a guy on a 360 silhouette with a recruit. Like it's Brian Kelly is Bobby the Brain Heenan for sure.
I like that pick. Joe Matt.
All right, my pick.
Two.
I get two picks. Do I get two picks back to back?
Yeah.
Yeah, snake draft.
My first pick's going to be, I'm not going to go football. I'm actually going to go basketball here. Jason Maxiel.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys have ever seen the video of him literally chasing another player around the court. I think it's in China or Europe. I'm not necessarily sure, but I know it's overseas. And he's literally chasing the guy across the court. So I think he would be an awesome WWE wrestler.
I'm going to show you a T-shirt that they used to sell back in the day.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can. Let me see.
Go ahead, Joe.
My second pick is actually going to be. I think I'm going to go just from a personality standpoint. I'm going to go another basketball player. I'm going to go with Justin Jackson. I can just see the mean face like walking down the tunnel. I could see the mean face walking down the tunnel.
Look at that.
This is a shirt that was actually sold when he was in Detroit. Jason Maxiel eats babies.
Wow. Wow.
Tell me that wouldn't have been a great WWE pro. Like everybody in the crowd had Jason Maxiel eats baby shirts.
That's wild.
Wow.
Insane.
All right, Chad, you're up. I took Justin Jackson, Jason Maxiel.
I'll go with a crossover. This guy, I think, might have been the best of the best of former Bearcats. You know where I'm going, Statty?
I think.
I'm going Connor Barwin.
Yep. You said crossover. Like that.
Barwin could talk. He had the perfect size for a WWE guy.
Yeah.
6'4", 250 pounds, the hair. He could work the mic. Like, I remember the Orange Bowl. Immediately upon arrival at the Orange Bowl, every media member flocked to Connor Barwin. Like, he was just electric in how he was on the Connor Barwin.
Do you remember when Connor Barwin
had to
when
guard
Connor
Greg
Barwin?
Oden?
Do you remember when Connor Barwin was a Bearcat? They had the crosstown shootout,
And he said if Xavier had a football team, we'd kick their ass.
and yeah, that was awesome. He's like, if Xavier had a football team, we'd kick their asses. He's
And he
like,
dropped the mic and just walked off.
and the place just went nuts.
Yeah. Connor Barwin might be the number one pick.
What a legend.
In terms of guys that actually would have like made it in the WWE and been electric, Connor Barwin. And then I'll stick basketball, Joe Matt. I mentioned this in our nightcap tonight. My top UC basketball player that I think would have been great in the WWE.
Wait.
You want to save it for when it comes back?
Oh shit,
to
my
you?
bad. I thought I was doing two. That's my bad.
Goodness.
Jeez, I'm sorry. My brain doesn't work right now.
Getting a little antsy in the pantsy
I
down
was like, do we let him go? Do we let him cook, or do we?
No, I'm good.
That's a weird snake draft.
I'm gonna take one of your guys' teammates, Joe DeBlanco. I picture him just hitting anyone and everyone with a chair.
With a chair, yeah.
With a chair.
Yeah.
Like hardcore Holly style.
Joe.
He gives off, definitely Drago, Rocky 4. I mean, that's Joel to a T.
Joel would have been great. What was that era that they had? They had the Extreme Rules. ECW. When they bought ECW and they had the ECW guys come in, Joel would have been an ECW guy for sure.
Banging his square head into people.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I said Hardcore Holly. Like Hardcore
Oh yeah,
Holly
like that. But yeah,
he was an ECW guy.
Yeah.
Oh my god. All right. My second pick, just because I think he fits the bill perfectly. I'm going Lorenz Metz. Taking Metz. 7-footer, 350, and just shredded. Yeah. Fits the bill.
He's got the accent and
Just-
Choke
yeah.
slamming everybody.
Just smashing everything. Hulk.
he's a freak, dude. He would be like legit. Like that. Cam Jones would be great, but Metz would be the one.
His walkout, Aaron, he just run down the stage onto the ring like the dude from Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That's great.
Just yelling. Yeah.
Does he have a nail implanted in his head though?
Maybe. You could tat it on him, yeah. Why not? Go ahead, Scott.
I got my my last two picks. Can also put them as the perfect, tag team ever. I got to go the Kelsey brothers.
Dude,
Both of them absolutely electric. Both would be perfect. Jason Kelsey would probably be even better than Travis. When he like dressed up for the Eagles Super Bowl parade, that dude, they would just be amazing at it. They would both be like, if they wanted to, they could go in tomorrow. Like they probably will and can.
You know what'd be electric, Soppy? Jason Kelsey coming down as like the 18th guy in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Like one of those surprise guys in the Royal Rumble.
Nope.
And here comes Kelsey in the short gym shorts. Like that would be so phenomenal.
Just running down or like old school and one and then Monarchs just running in. That would be awesome. I could see it. Honestly, I would not be surprised.
I could too. Like it would be so on brand for Jason.
Yeah. So those are my picks. I got Sauce and the Kelsey brothers. I feel pretty damn good about that.
You're pretty modern. Yeah, that's pretty good. I got a lot of size and Wolf and Metz. I'm gonna go a little more athletic. I think he's gonna have some fast hands. I'm gonna go Joe Metal. Appreciate this one being a hooper. He's thrown a punch on live television already. I think he would do a lot more. But Yancey Gates is who we're gonna go with.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll take a guy who lived out of his car. He'd do anything to make it. Marty Gilliard coming down as a Jamaican theme with the puka shells in his hair and everything. Let's go.
I like that. Kind of like who was it? Like Kofi Kingston was his name.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that a lot.
I'm gonna go. My pick is still here.
Yep.
So I'm gonna get my pick. Going air kicks. The eyes, the biceps. He's again another one of those guys right in that 6'4", 6'5" range that the WWE loves for like their guys. He was crazy enough that I think he would have been good on the mic. He's done a bunch of shows on this network back in the day when we were first getting started. So I'm gonna go E Hicks.
I was gonna take that pick. That's a good pick.
I got
Pizza Kong in the chat says Haruki Nakamura, and solely based on the name.
Oh, yeah.
My goodness.
It is a great name.
Like one of those Japanese with the mask,
Rey Mysterio.
high flyers. Ray was a luchador, but yeah,
Same vibe.
similar type vibe.
Same vibe.
I'm gonna stick with an all basketball lineup. I'm actually gonna go with Danny Fortson because I just don't know anyone who would want to mess with Danny Fortson. So I'm gonna.
Here's my problem with Danny Fortson.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You got to have some aerial ability in the WWE, and Danny Fortson couldn't jump over a piece of paper.
That's true.
I don't think you have to have some aerial. There's been plenty of guys who've done it without any aerial.
Big
like
Show ain't
the Undertaker would
Big
still
Show
get up
ain't
and walk the ropes. And like,
jumping.
I mean, you had the giant Hawaiian dude who just sit on people's faces.
Rikishi.
Yeah, there you go.
Andre the Giant not jumping.
No, he was not jumping anywhere. Mark Henry wasn't really a jumper.
Not a leaper.
Awesome. Well, there's your Bearcat WWE draft.
I think we can go one more round.
We can go
We'll
one
swing
more
through
round.
one more time.
Bonus.
Getting a full
Bonus
Mount Rushmore
round?
then.
All right, hey, my last pick then. I'm gonna take Terrell Bird. I don't know how many of you remember Terrell
Oh, I
Bird.
remember Terrell Bird.
The
Coleraine boy.
Birdman was a force to be reckoned with on the defensive line. Staddy, you might want to get him over to Black Sheep, do some training and stuff. I mean, that guy,
Teach me
legend.
something. BYRD Bird.
Yeah, BYRD.
Mm-hmm.
I know who you're talking about.
I think I need a high flyer on my roster.
You just like getting air.
I thought it was me. Joe,
It
that
is.
to me.
No, I said you like the aerials. You
Well, I haven't had one yet, like Barwin and E.
Okay.
Hicks. Like I haven't had. I think Trey Tucker
Wow.
would be an excellent like high flyer. Like he already has like the backflip in his arsenal. He's fast, like super crazy. Soppy can speak to Trey Tucker in the weight room.
Yeah, no,
Absolute freak of nature.
Trey's
He was
free.
good on the mic, like good, like when he like dealing with the media. My high flyer would be Trey Tucker.
Based on his haircut when he first got to campus at the beginning of this past season, Ivan Pace with his dragon style mohawk
with
was
all the
fantastic.
face paint.
Yeah,
Say the eye black for
Yeah.
sure.
great pick. I didn't even think about that. That's a great pick.
He's got the eye black. If this doesn't work out for him in the NFL, I don't know that any of us should even rule out the WWE because he's insane.
That's a great pick. I didn't even think about that.
When you watch him when he did his mic'd up, like he's always trying to like tackle guys or like sneak up on them, sneak attack. Like he's a WWE bad guy for sure.
He's got the energy for it.
Yeah.
Man, that was a great pick. I had him on my mind. Man. I'm gonna do a friend of The Rock. He's had 2 episodes on The Rock. And I think when he's in front of bright lights, a different character comes out. And I'm gonna go Jabari Taylor, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. I think when bright lights come on, a whole different person comes out, and yeah.
I think there's been some dudes in WWE that would be similar to Bari.
Yeah. Just yeah.
I'm glad you didn't take Josiah.
I thought you were taking Justin. I was like, dude, I don't know.
No.
I'm like, I don't think so, dude.
I don't think that would deal very well.
I
don't know.
I'm up. So
Yep.
My brain is going. This is my pick. My brain's going to Royer because Royer would be great. He came in. He did the he can do the announcing. I don't know. He came in a higher ground. I don't think you guys were there for that. I was coaching when he did.
No, we saw the video. Like we've seen the video.
They brought him back this year when he was playing. He did he would announce it, and it was unreal. It was unreal how good he was. So he would be great, but I just want to switch it up and throw a name that hasn't been said in a long time. Sticking with football, I'm gonna go with Gunnar Keel. Is who I'm gonna go with.
Ooh.
And if I don't Gunnar was yoked. I mean, this dude was jacked, almost to the point where I don't know if he can throw a football anymore because his biceps are so damn big. He was yoked. And he had a great personality too. I don't know how much of he showed it. I think probably a little bit. But he was a guy I think they could put him in there and he would be great. So I'm going with Gunnar as my 4th pick.
I like
OLI has to be Godfather.
Yeah.
I'm surprised nobody took him, but
that's another great pick. He's great.
Mike Warren is the Godfather.
Well, that's a different.
I got the hoe.
Oh man, that's a Mount Rushmore.
I wish I could tell my favorite Mike Warren story on air.
He was a goofball.
He was freaking hilarious, though.
It's hilarious.
He's a funny dude.
Well, there you go. That's your Bearcat WWE Mount Rushmore right there. I love it.
So
Good job,
I had
Tony.
something I talked with Dave about last night that I'm interested in your guys' thoughts. Did you guys watch New Heights this week by any chance, or listen to New Heights this week?
I've seen a lot of clips, but I haven't.
Some clips
watched
are
it.
not. No.
I'm the same. I'm the same as Sopko. Listen to a few clips.
So I now I spend a lot of time in my car driving back and forth to Good Sam. So I get a lot of podcast time in.
Mhm.
Their question of the week was essentially like what rule change, like what one rule would like you change if you were in sports. And this really wasn't where they started, but where they ended up was a penalty box in football. To where like you don't get ejected for like targeting, but you get a quarter in the penalty box, which is in the opposing team's like fan section, and you just have to sit there and get like doused with beer.
Oh my
I
god!
like that.
That would be awesome.
It would be like, yeah. Where it started was Travis's one rule that he would change in football is fighting. He would like one fight a game in the NFL.
Like drop
where
the
they could
gloves.
just take the helmets off, square up. Once somebody goes to the ground, it gets broken up, whatever the case may be, but you get one fight a game in the NFL. And then they went to like, the penalty box. The penalty box in the NFL would be amazing.
What if the NFL went back to the old XFL? Just get rid of the coin toss, and they have that like whatever they call it, scrum in the middle. They both just sprint at each other, and somebody else gets the ball. And that's who gets the ball first.
Yeah, I would love that.
Capture the flag, but the violent version.
Yeah, essentially,
yeah, that would be electric.
So
imagine
what one
Super
rule
Bowl starting that way?
What one rule would you guys change?
Doesn't
have to be football; it can be anything.
Oh man.
I would do that.
Baseball. I would have baseball be less innings, to be honest.
That's so boring.
Because it's not already boring.
No, just the rule. Like
the rule is boring as hell.
I just want
less legitimate thing that should really happen. We're trying to make
I can't watch baseball for 9 innings. I just want to watch 6 or 7 innings.
Joe's like, I'd like them to tighten up the targeting rule.
Just turn the game on late.
I mean,
third inning.
Third inning.
I have a couple of extra beers and show up in the third inning rather than for first pitch.
I mean, it's just there's got to be some changes to baseball. You don't think so?
All right, yeah. How about anytime a pitcher throws at somebody, the batter can then opt to go in a boxing match for 1 minute.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Rather than rushing the mound, they have the option to be like, hey, I don't want to rush the mound. I want to use my one fight. And they get like 3 a year or something like that.
What about, is that your rule?
Sure.
Yeah, I feel like you got a lot. I'm not that creative on the fly.
My mind just starts they just start coming to me. It just starts spitting it out.
I'm torn between shovel passes being fumbles and using the chips that are in the that we found out are in the NFL footballs, using those instead of 78-year-old men without glasses running around trying to eyeball where the fucking ball ended up.
I think a first down rule would be great.
You're not wrong.
So stupid. What are we doing out here with old men running around eyeballing where the ball is?
Did you see that the baseball, the AAA is going to they're not, I don't know if they're not using umps anymore, but they're going to like a strike and ball automated system.
Yeah, robot.
Yeah, a robot.
I'm still a huge fan, to be honest with you guys. I'm still a huge fan of the NFL going to the college football overtime rules. But I'm talking the old college football overtime rules. Is there ever too much football? The fact that college football switched its overtime rule this past year made me so mad. Get a stop. You know what I'm saying? I just want to see, and if we get to score 20 touchdowns in a row to figure out who wins, then so be it. That's just great entertainment for me. Don't you think?
I would love that.
Yeah.
The old rules were electric. Somebody just gets to the point where they're just like, fuck it, let's go for 2. Let's end it.
Who's going to go for two?
Having to like being forced to go for two.
Right. That makes it comfortable. Dude, I can't think of. I think basketball, dude, have a 4-point shot. Why not? One spot on the floor, it moves, it changes different spots. But like it's from deep, like volleyball line on the basketball court type.
Like
Steph Curry would be taking a lot of 4-point shots.
Curry and Lillard would be shattering point records with their 4-pointers. Or half court and beyond is worth 4, maybe something like that.
I like that. Let's those are some good rules, boys. Maybe somebody will listen to this and implement some changes around here.
I want Joe to go to a game in the 3rd inning this year.
Yeah, that's an easy fix for you, man. Anyway, let's tie it up and end it here with the our NFL conference championship weekend preview. You guys just want I'll just give you guys the floor. Do you want to hype up the Bengals? That's your squad. They're playing for a Super Bowl. Do you guys have something like a take you want to get off? Something you want to say about that, or
job's not finished? Job finished.
What is your
I think so.
What are your feelings going into this? What is your level of confidence going into this game?
The same it was for last game.
Mine's not very high.
Yours isn't very high?
I'll say this, mine's not very high, but it wasn't very high last week. So I wouldn't take my advice too strongly. I'm just a big believer in the more confident I get, the worse they'll play. And the more negative I am, the better they'll play. So I do it for the team. I mean, Statty knows that. At this point, I got to stay negative so my boys can go out there and ball out. People can think I'm silly for it, but it's just a thing that works.
So you're saying if you were the coach, would you tell them you guys have no shot at this game?
No. Listen, that's so you guys don't realize we're not talking about this right now. Okay.
Dude, you guys had your concerns with the Bengals offensive line and
they played well, but I don't think the Bills pass rush isn't as good as the Chiefs pass rush. That's the one thing I will say.
Can we talk about last week's statement by myself with Jackson Carman not being worse than Jonah Williams?
It was a good statement by you.
Dude, I'll tell you what. I was talking actually with Josiah on the phone last night for a while, and we were talking about the game stuff, and I was saying how if there's a guy, if there's a team that you want to have a shitty offensive line for, I'm not saying Joe Burrow doesn't deserve a great offensive line and everything, but I think what Joe does so well is that he's so intellectual that he can pick up blitzes and he gets the ball out of his hands so damn fast that he really helps his offensive line, to the point where obviously he takes so many sacks and gets hit so much, but I think he makes up for even so much of it because he can, whether he's flipping protections, changing it, checking stuff, or just the fact that he understands who his hot is so well and gets the ball out quick. And that was something I could notice was different from him and Josh Allen last week. There's no way Josh Allen isn't seeing these blitzers pre-snap. He must just not give a shit. He probably just feel hey, I'm so athletic I can make everybody miss. But it feels like there was a free rusher every play, and Josh wasn't checking anything. He wasn't getting the ball out of his hands quick. He was just I'll just run around, make a miss, and chuck it deep. Whereas Burrow, he can get out of the pocket and make plays. He's done that his whole career. But I think what makes it so good is how smart he is and how fast he gets the ball out.
Well,
we've been trying to tell you. I feel like we've been trying to tell you that all year. For someone who's a quarterback, they should appreciate quarterback type things that he does, So it's not surprising to me and Statty that he outdueled Allen. Now I will say this: Patrick Mahomes is better than Josh Allen. He's really dang good. So Patrick Mahomes is looking to win. I mean, he's lost 3 straight against Burrow. So I kind of am just I don't like some of the Bengals fans that believe I'm not saying this is us or this is Statty. I'm saying for a lot of things I see on Twitter, people just think, oh, we've got this game because we beat them 3 times. They're looking to get revenge. I mean, it's going to be a great game in my opinion. I think my worry just comes from a nervousness. I'm nervous because as a Bengals fan, I so badly want them to win a Super Bowl, and it's so hard to get to this point, right? If you go 2 years in a row and you get to this point and you don't finish it, for me, that's just it's not bad. It's still a huge accomplishment, but it's not what you wanted. We want to win a Super Bowl. Right. And that's where for me, it's it gets me I know like the national media like is going to continue to disrespect the Bengals until they win a Super Bowl. Same thing with the Browns, right? You deal with it all the time. Like the national media is not going to respect franchises or certain franchises until they prove they can win the whole thing. Whether and even if the Bengals got back to the Super Bowl this year and they lost again, it would still be the same story next year. And I think Bengals fans, including me, are just tired of hearing it. So a lot of my negativity more comes from nerves and being like, I just want to shut the media people up, if that makes sense.
What about Mahomes' injury?
I don't think it's as big of a factor as people are making it out to be. I think he's fine. What do you think?
I think it's a pretty big factor. I mean, I think he's so damn good. He's the best player in the league that he's still going to be really successful. And he's on one leg. I mean, if you watch in the second half, I know he's had a whole week to, do rehab and do what he can to try to make it better. But like he couldn't even push off his back foot. Like, you know how hard it is to throw as a quarterback. He was like just hopping and throwing off his front foot. Like that's where your power is generated from, is from your back foot and turning. I mean, it's rotational movement, right? It's throwing a football, pitching, hitting a golf ball, hitting a baseball, tennis. Like it's all rotational movement, right? And like that power is coming from your back leg, and he can't even push off of it. Like he's just like, but I think his arm's so damn strong that he can still make it work, and he's that good that he still can be. He's probably better on one leg than over 50% of the NFL quarterbacks. But what makes him what he is too is, right, his ability to kind of scramble, run around, make those crazy plays. And it's like, is he going to be able to do that on one leg? Is he going to be willing to kind of risk his health and do that? Obviously, he's planning to get to the Super Bowl, but there's a lot that goes into that, man.
Well, and I think we're going to, you touched on Josh Allen getting hit with the blitzes. I think that's just a testament to the D coordinator too. The Bengals, we've been drawing up a lot of good pressures all year, and I don't see any reason why that would slow down this week, especially if you can get a couple hits on him. Just make him get up off the ground, just add some more pressure to that ankle. But I think you also go back talking about just having a poor O-line. I think it helped so much how Von Miller just wasn't on the field last week, and just giving that O-line credit or confidence that you don't have to worry about a dude that's probably a Hall of Famer. So I think we're going against a much better defensive line in the Chiefs than the Bills have. Sure, they have Ed Oliver, but pretty banged up. Like that defense is pretty banged up all year. So I think I agree with Joe. It's definitely a tougher matchup, but they are the 1 seed, so I don't see how that's not already expected. But I just want Houday to go out there, take care of business again.
What are your predictions? Just go around before we end tonight, and just who do you predict to win the Eagles-Niners game?
I like the Birds.
You're taking the Birds?
I'm taking the Eagles too.
I'm super pumped. I think it's the 4 best teams are playing. That's all you can ask for. We'll finish with the Bengals-Chiefs game, but the Eagles-Niners game, this is the one that I'm like, I don't have much confidence in. I'm going back and forth. They're both great teams. The Niners I've been really high on for the last couple weeks. They've been good to me. I've been riding them. They've been good to me. They're a really good team. I love that offense. The defense is great, but dude, I don't know. I think that the Eagles, I've talked myself into the Eagles too. Eagles money line. I think they're a wagon. I think Purdy hasn't really played a good defense all year since he took over, other than the Cowboys last week, who, they were inconsistent this week. But he has his moments where he's great, and he has his moments where he makes rookie mistakes. And I think kind of this will be the first time where they'll make him pay for those mistakes. So I'm on the Eagles too. In the Link, you got to go to the Link. Philly, dreams and nightmares is blaring. I mean, it's tough.
Tough environment.
Pitch black Philly night. Mean ass fans.
Love it.
And then the second game, dude, I'm all over the Bengals money line, man. I'm all over it. And
I don't know. I think it's going to be a first team to get over 24.
You think? I looked at their last 3 matchups, and it was 27-24, 27-24, 34-31. And the over's 47.5.
Did you guys see that Betfred paid out everybody who put money on the Bengals yesterday?
I heard about that.
Before the game even happened, they're just like, we got you.
That's bad juju. I would be pissed off if they did that with the Browns if I was a fan, to be
Well, I
honest.
mean, obviously you have the Ohio betters all over everything, so you're trying to capitalize on that and get people in, but that was wild.
Yeah. Wild business move, but I just think that's bad juju, man. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm on the Bengals, dude. I think Burrow's the chief killer.
Burrow got to be the MVP, right?
I don't know.
Or is it
I think
Mahomes?
Mahomes should win it, but
Yeah. I mean, he carried me to a fantasy championship, so I'm not disagreeing. I was more surprised that Zach Taylor wasn't up for Coach of the Year. But the Bills.
That's my guy, Zach Taylor. I've heard a lot of slander about him from you Bengals fans, and he's only taking you to potentially back-to-back Super Bowls. So, whatever. Must be nice. Must be a nice problem to have.
You don't say much positive about Kevin Stefanski other than his first drive of the game.
Yeah, because he stinks past first. He's not Zach Taylor. He's Kevin Stefanski.
He also doesn't have Joe Burrow.
He also doesn't have, yeah.
Good point.
But Zach Taylor's done a terrific job. So you were right. We were wrong, and I'm okay. And I'm okay with being wrong. I'm all in on the Zach Taylor. I have the utmost respect for him. And you say he's a great guy, so I trust you too.
I was surprised to see the Bills coach up there and not Zach Taylor.
I think it's ridiculous that he hasn't won Coach of the Year, basically taking one of the worst franchises in NFL history to 2 straight AFC championship games. Like, I know Joe Burrow's really good, but the guy's created a terrific culture. I mean, all around. I don't get it, actually. I think it's crazy. But once again, the media, Soppy, we're sticking with the narrative. The media hates Cincinnati, and we're out to prove everyone wrong,
Here we come.
See, man, sounds like everybody's high on him now, but we'll see what happens.
Joe, Matt, you predicting a Bearcat upset Saturday?
I'm not predicting it, but I hope for it. I think it would be huge. That's exactly what they need right now. So I'm hoping. I'm not guaranteeing. I'm hoping they just compete. How about that, Statty? I'm hoping they go out there and compete and keep it close, and we walk away going, this team's gotten a little bit better in the last few weeks.
I hope we play to win the game.
Yeah. I'm rooting for a Bearcat win, but I hope both teams have fun. Really, at the end of the day, that's what matters. So,
Rocket Tree.
For all of you listeners out there, it's all that matters. Have fun. Go enjoy yourselves this weekend.
Hey.
Have a great weekend. Have fun. We'll catch you next week.
Have a great weekend, fellas. Who day?
Go Bearcats.